This Premier League transfer window has been a fucking disgrace. Some teams shouldn't even bother being in the Premier League. There's no point. With that said, we're going to go through the first signing. So, Emi Buendia signed with Aston Villa like a month ago for £38 million. I think he's a very good signing. He plays a right wing and he played in the Championship last season and he had a very good season. I think the reason why he's a good signing is because he played in the Premier League 2 years ago, so he's got some experience. And he's gone away from the Premier League and really worked on his game. Now he's come back as an even better player with experience, so I think he'll do well with Aston Villa. Arsenal really should have done a lot better to sign him, but I guess now it's too late. Next up is Enoch Wapu. I think that's how you say his name. He just signed with Aston Villa for £23 million. I'm not really sure who he is, but he plays at central midfield, so it looks like Brighton are trying to bolster, the centre of the park. He played in the Austrian Bundesliga last season. I'm not too familiar with that league, but I'm not sure it's really on the level of the Premier League. No, I'm certain. And this seems like a risk signing because he's got no Premier League experience, and unlike Buendia, he hasn't really had a chance to see what the league is like, so he can really work on his game. So, unless Brighton have really done their homework, I think he's a signing that isn't going to start the season. At some point, he will feature more regularly, but once again, I think this is a risk signing. Next up, we've got Mark Guehi, who signed with Crystal Palace for about £23 million. And to me, this signing makes no sense because obviously, Mark Guehi is a Chelsea youth product. He did play in the Championship last season. He played nearly every game, 43 matches, which is really impressive for a young player. But once again, he's got no Premier League experience, so it's another risk signing. Crystal Palace should be signing players with more experience because they're a team I think are really going to struggle next season, and they're going to need players that have a lot more tools at their disposal. Mark is a player who is still learning. He's not the finished product, and I think he could really struggle next season. Next up, we've got Patson Daka, who signed with Leicester for about £30 million. Again, I think this is a risk. This is a risk signing, but because Daka did so well last season in the Austrian Bundesliga, I think he should do well next season in the Premier League as well. He scored 27 goals last season, which is very impressive for any league. So I think he'll carry that form onto the Premier League. And yeah, I think he should be starting next season. I'm not sure why you'd spend £30 million on a player just to put them on the bench. Although when you look at teams like Manchester United and City, this happens quite regularly. But this is Leicester we're talking about, so I think he'll be starting next season. He probably is a very good signing, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And the last signing we're going through is Ibrahima Konata. I've heard about this player a lot. So, you'd probably guess he's a good player. He signed with Liverpool for about £40 million. And this signing doesn't make a lot of sense because Konata, he only played 14 league matches in the Bundesliga last season. So I'm not sure if he was injured. I don't believe he was. He might have been. He might have been a player that, started the season late. I should have done a bit more research, I guess. But yeah, a strange signing because he cost £40 million and he barely played last season. So I'm not sure if he's worth the money. Maybe he is. I know Liverpool are usually pretty good at scouting players, so he probably is worth the money. He plays at centre back, so it looks like Liverpool want to try and start him next season. I know they have Van Dijk coming back from injury, so he could be a partner to Van Dijk. And what do I think about this signing? I think Liverpool do need like at least another centre back. But obviously with Van Dijk coming back, you know, this could be a really good partnership, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. And that's about it.